Welcome to a parallel project training APM project management qualification podcast based on the APM body of knowledge 6th edition. You should be using this in conjunction with our e-learning, study guide and potentially a tutor-led course. For more information, please visit www.parallelprojecttraining.com.
Hello, welcome to this Parallel Project Training podcast on quality with John Bolton and Paul Neighbour. We're working through the APM project management qualification, formerly known as the APMP. And the section on quality, we're looking at three assessment criteria. Define quality management, define quality planning, assurance, control, and describe the benefits of the quality management process. This is everyone's favourite topic, isn't it?
Yippee.
Well, hey, our favourite.
When you're running a course, you get to quality that, you see the shoulders sag. Oh, God. No,
Why is that?
Because it's dull.
Why is it dull?
I don't know. It's. I think it's got itself a bad name, hasn't it?
Oh,
I think people set up, people think of quality as ISO 9000 and BS 5750 Part 1.
Okay.
And, you know, millimetre, microns and, detail and
processes and procedures.
Checking things and continuous.
Yes.
And I think that's fine. And in fact, that's what it is, isn't it? But I think people think of quality as checking, don't they?
Yes.
And it's a bit more than that, really. When you define quality management, I mean, the APM talk about quality management being a discipline for ensuring that outputs, benefits and the processes are all fit for purpose, which is fine. But it's just the tip of the iceberg, really, isn't it?
I think it's embedded actually in the way you do the way you deliver the project all the time.
Yeah, but the way you deliver the project is written down in the project management plan. You see.
Well, so is the quality plan. So the quality plan is part of the. We'll come to the quality plan later, shall we?
Quality management plan. Yeah.
Yes.
But I think it's important because you've got the two bits. The products that you produce.
Yes.
In the project are defined in the product descriptions, along with how you test them.
As part of the product breakdown structure.
That's right. But the way you run the project is defined in the project management plan.
Yes. So
if you were running a quality project,
yes,
irrespective of what products you produce, so you could run the right project and still end up with the wrong products.
Yes. But, okay.
So you have someone that checks that you're following the procedures.
Yes.
And if the procedures are wrong, you correct them. You also have someone that's checking the products, and if the products are wrong, you correct them. So there's two definite strands to this.
Yes.
Because I think people get the idea that, we've got to produce the right stuff. We've got to be able to prove that. But they miss the bit that you've produced it as a consequence of a process. Yes. So if you end up with the wrong product, the process must be wrong. So they forget to change the process. And that's where continuous improvement comes from. Because you don't have continuous improvement on a product, you have continuous improvement on the project.
Or the process.
Which
as we talked about earlier.
That's right, yeah.
Lessons learned. Back to our conversation we had about lessons learned.
That's right.
At the beginning of this. So we've done define quality management. And then they can move on to talk about quality, planning, assurance, control, and continual improvement. So quality planning is the production of a quality management plan, which is just part of the PMP.
Quality planning. You're right, a quality management plan. So what goes in that then?
Well, I think it's the same as all the other plans that you see in the PMP. So you have the roles and responsibilities, you have the process that you're going to follow, you have any tools and templates that you're going to use. I'm just going to look in the book, actually. Any techniques that you're going to use.
That's right.
And any review period. You usually have a review period for a quality plan. So how are we going to assess how effective it's going to be?
Yeah. So the quality plan, the scope of the quality plan needs to encompass all of the products you're going to produce. Does the quality plan just apply to the project or the products or both?
Oh, that's interesting because I've seen it done both ways. But effectively it has to encompass the quality criteria for the products.
Don't they on the product description?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the quality plan tells you how to write a product description.
I think it's the same as the risk management, actually. If you think about the risk management plan defines the process for managing risk.
That's right.
And the risk register lists out all of the risks.
Yes.
So it's exactly the same principle here. So the quality management plan defines the process for managing quality, and then as part of the requirements management system, really, you then define the quality criteria for each of the products that you're going to produce.
That's right.
So you have a policy and a schedule.
Yeah.
And I think that model actually applies to quite a lot of them. I'm making this up now at the moment.
Yeah,
I think that model applies to maybe the issue management plan and the issue management log. So that's a common theme you see all the way through.
Well, that's right. I mean, that's the way the project management plan works. That's the way it's designed the way it is. Because you have the policies and procedures on the left-hand side, and then as a consequence of operating those policies, you produce something.
Some records.
In risk, it's a risk log. Issue, it's an issue log. Quality, it's quality log. So part and parcel of operating the process, you have managerial products that are produced. But, I mean, let's get back to quality, really, because quality planning is about making sure that you have got the requisite infrastructure to produce the right stuff. So in terms of people, roles and responsibilities, other resources like computer systems and so on. But you also have to spread the net wide enough to encompass all of the things that are governing how you are doing things. So external standards and procedures that you're going to be following. And whether your organisation is part of the PESL, you will have figured out whether or not you've got things like TQM, for example, or investors in people or anything like that. So
things from the context.
That's right. You're not operating the project in a vacuum.
Yes.
Well, space station, I suppose, is. But I mean, you're not operating the project in a vacuum. You're constrained in what you do.
Yes.
And you know, if you're producing, I don't know, what's it? Give me an example that some sort of motor vehicle. There's going to be descriptions laid down as to what you can and can't do.
I think actually
where the lights have got to be, and
again, in a lot of projects,
how efficient the brakes are, and that
they
sort of
take place in an organisation. The quality management procedures are actually common to every project in the organisation.
Well, they might be.
So you tend to.
They might be.
Yes.
But I mean, bearing in mind a project's unique, you've never done it before.
Yes.
So you may have something you can draw on, and you may have a core of it, like risk management, but you might need to adapt it. That's what you mean.
Yes, I mean, a lot of this might have been worked out already, so you're not often starting with a blank sheet of paper.
Well, I think that's true of anything, isn't it? If you don't necessarily like start with a blank sheet of paper, you have to go and find out if there's any precedents or anything you can use. So, okay, what's the difference between quality planning and continuous improvement then? Talk to me about continuous improvement.
Are we jumping to continuous improvement, are we?
We'll do assurance next.
We'll do assurance.
Assurance. What's assurance?
I think assurance, I know we disagree on this, but assurance is the frame, comes out of the context really. It's the framework in which there are some things like you don't let anyone, it's about the training, it's about using competent people, it's about using competent contractors, it's about having an audit process in place to check compliance. So why do you have a preferred supplier list? Why do you have approved suppliers? You can't just go out and buy procurement from any organisation. So assurance is that it's that overarching umbrella that ensures that the right people have the right training to work on the right things in the right way. So that's actually how you get most quality, by having the properly trained people who know who are competent and competent contractors.
Yeah.
And actually, if you get that bit right, then the quality control is just a matter of checking.
So it's just contractors then?
It's contractors, your own staff, it's training your own staff, it's doing regular audits, it's evaluating, is our quality management system actually delivering what it should be delivering? Is it working? Are the processes that we're using right? It's usually you have a quality management system.
So when you audit something then, we could have an argument here. When you audit something, what are you going to audit?
You usually audit against the quality management system. So a lot of organisations will have ISO 9000, and that'll say this is our quality management system, and that sets the assurance framework for all the work that organisation does.
So what about auditing the adherence to the PMP?
That would come under that. I mean, that would be one part of the assurance process, but they'd also look at are we following our procurement processes? Are we following our
but they're all written down in the PMP.
Yes. Yes.
So why?
Well, I don't know.
Who would do that then? Because are you suggesting
Usually-
the audit is the only thing? Because audit isn't assurance, is it?
It's part of assurance.
Okay.
It's part of assurance. It's checking the it's usually. Oh, I think assurance is usually done at an organisational level.
Do you?
So you usually see a quality
don't.
department
You see, I disagree with
doing
that.
assurance. I don't think you can mark your own homework as a project manager.
No, that's why you get the project office to do it.
Well, okay.
Because you do it. You have an audit every
they
once in a
work-
blue moon. Well,
They might work for you.
yeah, that's right. But they're in a sense, if I'm the project manager, I want to make sure that things are happening according to the plan. But I'm not going to run around and check it all myself. I would expect someone impartial to do that. Sort of impartial.
Isn't that just part of your day-to-day project controls?
No, not really. Because project controls is about producing the stuff and about monitoring and control the activities.
Uh-huh.
How do I know that all the product descriptions have been filed away properly? How do I know that
Yes,
the
that's right.
timesheets are
That's
accurate?
right.
How
That's
do I
right.
know that
That's right.
people are
That's right.
actually doing stakeholder engagement?
That's right. So
How do
usually
I-
someone turns up, and in my experience, it's been someone.
and
who
you
says,
normally get the project
"Show us
office
your
to do that on
quality
a day.
plan."
No.
Or show us your project management plan, and
No,
then
you
they
don't want
go-
any surprises. So you don't want the auditor to tell you you're not doing it right. You carry
Okay,
out
so you do
assurance on a
self-audit.
day-to-day basis. So you carry out assurance within
Yeah.
the project. But that's me making sure that my team are working properly. Who makes sure that I'm working properly as a project manager?
The organisation, usually. The organisation's governance.
That's right. So that's-
why you have a method.
So that's assurance, but the sponsor will be carrying out assurance on me.
Yeah, but they don't normally do much. They usually rely on the people who own the method, if you like, using APM terms.
Well, a project support office or something like that.
Yes, or quality department.
Mm.
I mean, usually someone from quality department says, your project's up for audit this month. You go, oh, bugger.
But you keep talking about audit, and I think
No, it's
you know,
not just audit. It's about
We're
training.
talking about assurance.
It's about training. Make sure you've got the right skilled people doing the
yeah.
right job.
But we've had people
Make sure you
brought
rise
in,
contract-
especially from the business, to sit alongside project managers to make sure that they are competent, if you like.
That's right. That's right.
And that's
right.
assurance. That's
That's
not
right.
audit,
No,
because
that's
it's
right, about
mentoring, it's
training.
coaching, and all
That's
that sort
correct,
of thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And you do the same for suppliers. So you don't let any supplier come in. You vet your suppliers as an organisation
'Cause-
before you let them.
Because I think assurance is one of the things that people struggle with most, really. But a lot of it is assurance, is making sure you're operating the plan according to the way it's been written. Make sure you're following the procedures. If you take it to its logical conclusion, everything you do is written in the plan. Therefore, you need to check that everything in the plan's been done according to the plan.
Okay, so in your procurement plan, you may say we will only use suitably qualified,
Suppliers.
competent suppliers
Prove
from
that's
the
happening.
company's database.
How would you demonstrate that's happening?
Yes, okay.
Because people will say black's white if it suits them.
That's right.
Yeah, we're doing that. Well, can you prove it?
That's right. That's right.
So, I mean, I'm coming from an auditor's point of view. When we used to audit projects.
Yes, but
You
assurance
go-
is more than audit, as we've said lots of times.
Well, that's why I'm trying to differentiate between the two, because assurance is organic. Assurance should happen as a part of the fabric of the project.
Yes.
Audit
that's right.
is external. Audit comes in from outside
Yes.
and is that final organisational check and balance.
Yes.
So you self-audit, and your project infrastructure checks itself most of the time.
Yeah.
So you've got to have ways. You've got to say to your project office manager, can you just go and check, make sure all the timesheets are filed away properly? Can you just go and check that for me and tell me that's been done? Can you make sure that all these stakeholders have actually been part of this process? Or
Okay.
in the process, it says that there'll be 3 quotes received. Can you go and just make sure we've got them on file? It's not about someone from outside coming in and saying you've done it wrong. You self-assure most of the time, but then the
Yes.
audit is the final check.
Yes. Okay. Okay. But it's okay. It's about quality people, quality processes. It's about understanding are the processes actually working for us? Do we need to change them? So it's linked back to that lessons learned discussion we had earlier, really.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What's the difference between continuous improvement and quality planning and assurance? Because if you're talking about improving processes as
Yes.
part of insurance, then you've also got continuous improvement to worry about from an examination point of view. So you need to differentiate between those two now.
Well, assurance is asking yourself, is this working? And then continuous improvement is the improvement that you achieve as a result of something not some poor indicator.
But lessons learned are part of quality continuous improvement.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but continuous improvement is the change, isn't it? So continuous improvement implies some change to a process, effectively.
Well, I think
Or an approach.
continuous improvement is more of a state of mind. It's about actively looking for opportunities to improve things.
Actively looking. Yes. That's
Quality circles, looking at the lessons learned reports, doing something with
I think
them.
it's simpler than that. It's just saying this risk management process we're using isn't working. Let's improve it. We just had a conversation about the way we do our public invoicing. It works, but it doesn't work perfectly. So let's improve it.
Yes.
That's continuous improvement.
Yes,
It's not
but the way it's portrayed is planning, assurance, control, and continuous improvement.
Yes.
And the implication is it's a linear process. It's like
It's not linear.
No, well, no, that's what I'm
Yes,
saying to you.
it's-
It's organic. Continuous
Yes,
improvement's
yes.
a state of mind. It's a culture.
Yes.
So you have to encourage a culture of continuous improvement.
Yes.
If you look at, back at sort of British Leyland days, I think they 42 operations to fit a door handle on a Mini or something.
Yes.
But it used to take 2 hours to do a door handle. But the Japanese came along and it took 10 seconds.
Yes.
But no one ever bothered to look at why it was
Yes.
taking so long.
Yes. Gosh, you opened up a can of worms there, John. Because continuous improvement is different from step change.
Yeah, okay.
So continuous improvement is sort of optimising what we currently have.
Yes.
And it's a good example, actually. Your risk management process, you might say, it's not quite working, so let's improve it a little bit.
but
But then you might say, actually, what we need is to radically overhaul this.
Overhaul
We're
this.
then into
Okay.
a step change, and that's...
Yeah, I mean, on a project, continuous improvement. If you presumably, if you were welding some panels together, you'd want to know those panels were properly welded. So you X-ray them or something.
That's
And if the problem is demonstrated to be training of the staff, you go and train them.
That's right.
If it's a faulty equipment, you improve the equipment.
So one of your KPIs will be your quality indicators, and if that quality indicator...
That's right. So what's a quality indicator?
It's some measure of... If you inspect the welds and the percentage of welds that pass will be a quality indicator.
Yeah. We used to. The classic one in software is bugs, software bugs.
Yes, okay.
And
bugs raised, bugs closed.
raised, bugs closed. That's right. And a ratio of one against the other.
Yes, that's right. Per month.
But if you've got someone, for example, say you've got
So
someone
if you find one team got
lots more than the others,
lots more than the others, it
That's
means there's something that needs improving here.
it might do. That might just be there doing the hard bits.
It could be, yes.
But if you've got an individual who's continually producing software that doesn't work properly, failing tests, you'd want to know about that because you might want to train him or something else. That's continuous improvement. I just try to encourage people not to think about it as planning, assurance, control. Then you do continuous improvement.
No. I don't think these are sequential.
It's a bit of a
really.
whirly gig.
Yes,
It sort of goes round and round and round.
Yes, these are not. Because assurance, what comes first, planning or assurance?
That's right.
They don't.
Well, arguably, why they bother separating them?
Yes.
But
Well, we struggle.
we do, as you've actually realised. Quality assurance is the tricky one, folks. But
I think we nailed it here.
Yeah.
We've got training, audit, lessons learned, supplier accreditation.
I'm sure there's someone in the APM quality SIG who's going to listen to that and have a proper
those
eclectic
are the sort of
fit.
things. No, those are the sort of things I think that definitely belong in assurance.
And quality control is the bit that most people recognise.
Yes.
Because that's the sort of tangible bit of measuring stuff,
Yes.
getting the tape measure out.
Yes, and I think some of them we do more often than others, like inspection, testing, and measurement.
I think that's what most people do.
Is what most people do.
Go look at it. Does it look right?
Yes.
And
yes.
But the principle is that you have as an objective a measure as possible.
Yes. In fact, an exam tip, you could probably split those into 3 different things. Inspection for me, we used to inspect documents. I don't know if you use that word.
So walkthrough.
Is it a walkthrough? Okay.
Well, I think
peer review of a document.
for the purpose of the exam, I just think you've got to be quite clear about what you mean by each walkthroughs. Do you come across Fagan reviews?
No.
I don't know if it's still used.
See, walkthroughs for me, we use in code, as we've said in the book here, for sort of walking through the code.
Or a process.
Yes, or a process.
So,
That's right.
and you could you sort of put yourself in the position of, let's say, if you're doing an airport terminal, you would walk through the system.
Yes.
So, and quite often you see these fly-through sort of 3D demonstrations now of buildings and things like that. So you do a walkthrough, so you take an experience through it, and you see people talking about storyboarding things. And so I think walkthroughs of that are just as valuable, because some of that is very subjective.
Yes.
And it's an attempt to get to the bottom of what people really want and what they're going to experience. Whereas inspection and measurement is a bit more linear. It's a bit more two-dimensional.
Yes.
You inspect a document.
You inspect a document, that's right. You peer review.
Well, no, you'd expect, not just a document, I mean, you inspect someone's work.
That's right, so you can physically inspect
You go and inspect the world.
Yes, that's right.
You know, inspection, measurement. I suppose you're arguing inspection and measurement are different.
I think you could split them up.
Yeah, okay.
You could inspect, and you can measure the property.
I don't think you can measure something without inspecting it.
We can. Well, yes, okay, but I'm trying to get 5 easy ones here.
I've measured it. How did you do that then? Well, I didn't inspect it. I measured it from over here. Yeah.
No, you can inspect a document. You don't measure a document. How do you? You don't weigh a document.
No, right.
Okay, so
you'd reserve inspection for documents then, even though you inspect other things.
No, I'd say I tend yes, because you could peer review. I mean, that's the most common quality in design and stuff. You get someone to check or peer review a document.
Yeah.
Measurement is for physical things, really, isn't it? It's for measuring welds.
So you could have inspection of documents and inspection of measurement of other products if you wanted. Yes, all right, okay. So two sections.
You know, a lot of quality.
Two
is
different types of
documents.
inspection.
Yeah, then walkthroughs, that gives you a third one.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Then
I've put some others in here.
Pareto.
I do struggle with some of these a bit.
Sampling is another good one. I sometimes suggest.
Oh, acceptance sampling. Oh, note to self. I'll put that in there.
Sampling's an easy one. You know, so we do a sample.
That was in the old book. That's dropped out now.
Yeah, no, I think sampling's an easy one that people can understand.
So acceptance sampling is where you get a batch of stuff.
Yes.
And you take 3 out of the 500. And if they're okay, you accept all 500.
Yes.
And the danger is you check the wrong 3, of course.
Yes, but it depends on the quality of your process.
Yeah.
If you've got a good process, you can do sampling. If it's a crappy process, you can't.
There was a famous story about that. Did I tell you about that?
Go on then.
A big batch of silicon chips arrived at a factory. And the Japanese, first time they used Japanese back in the 70s. And on top of the pallet load of chips was an envelope. And in the envelope there were 3. And it said, "We don't know why you want 99.97% quality, but here are the 3 that don't work."
Fantastic. Yes, yeah.
Urban myth. It's nice to think that it's true, but yeah.
Yeah, mate. So we've got inspecting documents, we've got inspection and measurement of physical things, we've got walkthrough, we've got sampling. So how many more do we need?
How many is that? 4?
4. So we just need 1 more. So you've then got a choice between Pareto analysis,
process control.
And Pareto says that 80% of the faults are caused by 20% of the.
That's Pareto,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then.
I mean, I am denied about whether to put process control charts in here at all, actually, because I really, in a manufacturing environment, what a process control chart does, it tells you deviation from a norm.
Yes.
So if you said, I want this bottle to have a litre of water in it, but I'll accept it at 0.95 of a litre to 1.05 of a litre, anything between that range I'm happy with. Yes. And then what you do then is you sample.
Yes, the only project example I've found is tensile strength for concrete when you're doing a long pour.
That's right, yeah.
Like the Shard, where they poured that over several months, and you take samples of concrete.
Yeah, the other one is bolts in steelwork. You know, you take 2 or 3 bolts out and stress test them to make sure they're adequate.
Yes, but that's only going to give you 2 or 3 points, you see, and really you want lots of points.
Depends how many bolts you're using.
Yes,
you build the
it's more sampling actually, taking a sample of.
I don't understand the difference between SPC and sampling. You see, all SPC is a graphical representation of a sample.
Yes.
And a lot of people pick up on that. But that's why, if you can imagine a bottling plant where you got 10,000 bottles an hour.
Yes.
When you want to know the bottles are filled up with the right water. You're not going to check every single one. So, but you want to see where the trends are going. Are we generally putting too much in it? Are we generally putting too little in it? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? And so I can see why in a manufacturing environment they have a lot of value, but in a project I think they're about as much use as a ashtray and a motorbike.
Yeah. And then Ishikawa is another one that's a little bit academic, really. Yeah.
Well, it's cause and effect diagrams.
It's looking for the root cause of failure. So that quite closely links to Pareto, really.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your causes that go in your Pareto chart.
Yeah. I think if you're doing the exam and you've got other examples, you see, I think a quality control technique is writing a product description.
Ooh, isn't that a planning technique? That's a
writing the description itself.
It's a planning technique.
Because no, it's not. You write the product description, and then you in your product description you have all the tests. You describe how you're going to prove it.
Yes.
That's a quality control technique.
Okay.
It is.
Okay. I need to think about that.
How would you test a benefit?
Yes, actually, that comes back to the definition of that's. But let's not open up that.
Well, it's in the definition.
Now.
I think it's.
How would you test the benefit? They're difficult.
So we've got a benefit profile that says we are going to get
3 people.
We're going to save £1 million on employment costs.
Yes.
How would you test that?
That means that's very difficult because that means that you have to demonstrate that people have left the organisation, that the headcount's lower than it was, and you're still doing the same amount of work.
Yes.
But that's fine until you get growth or something else in pestle changes.
That's right.
So
That's
a million people is 200 people.
Yeah.
So we have to run this organisation with 200 people less.
Yeah.
But without increasing the risk.
Don't know which organisation you work for. 200? 20 people.
20 people. 20 people, yes. 20 people.
So we've got to run this business with 20 people less.
Without increasing the risk.
Without increasing and maintaining product and maintaining output.
Maintaining the same output.
Yes.
But without increasing the risk. Because you can lose the people and...
Lose the plot.
So that's the difficulty with...
So when you write a product description for a product, where would you write the test criteria for a benefit?
In your benefits management plan.
It's actually in the benefit profile.
Okay.
Is the answer. Because the benefit profiles contain the status quo. They contain the current state, the benchmark, and they contain the to be state. So what do I want to be able to do that I can't do now, or what situation do I want to observe that I can't observe now? And it's the benefit profiles that you'll look in the benefit realisation reviews, because you'll test back against those to make sure that they're right.
Mm-hmm. So we'll have to add that in here then.
Okay.
So by the time you see this, that'll be all explained.
Yes.
Quality for benefits.
Uh-huh. You can't have a review without something to review, can you?
No.
You can't all just sit around a table and chew the fat. You've got to sit and look at something and say, we said we were going to do this and we've done that and it's different.
Yes.
So why is it different?
Yes. I mean, it's easier. Benefits are easier if it's a revenue thing, a product. So if you're going to launch a new product and you're going to achieve a certain level of sales for that product and a certain level of profitability for that product, that's an easier thing to measure because it's less.
Yes.
It's more discreet.
Yes.
If it's a cost saving, benefits are really hard to actually demonstrate.
The real benefits are societal. You know, I mean, I spoke to a bloke his program was to improve the health of middle-aged men in the West Midlands. And you say to him, "Why do you know when he finished?"
Yes.
You know, improve is not good enough.
By how much?
By how much? You know.
Yes.
So I think that people kind of forget that. Really, it's not a role of the project manager anyway. But the definition does say benefits, so we ought to touch on it.
Yes, well, that's I think because the 6th edition is drifting towards program and portfolio management. We've now done half an hour, so
that's good enough.
Yes.
Happy days.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this podcast and found it informative. To order a study guide, e-learning, or a tutor-led course to go with this podcast, please visit www.parallelprojecttraining.com.